1/4. Hey guys, it's Thursday. It's our last day of the week this week because there's no school tomorrow since it's almost Easter. Today we'll be working on lesson 15.5, comparing and ordering mixed numbers. So you'll need your packet open to this page. Looks like that. You'll also need a pencil. And you'll need to continue watching this video. So, here we go. Okay. So we're going to start by talking about mixed numbers, just a quick review. So remember, a mixed number is a whole number and a proper fraction put together, okay? So when we start our packet page today, this is what we're working with, is the mixed numbers. So to start, we're going to compare and order mixed numbers. These first few have some visual aids to help you. So number 1, I have my numbers over here, my mixed numbers. I have 1 3/5, and that's represented by that one. 1 3/4, that's represented by this one. With this, I can look at the picture. I see that 3/4 is larger than 1 3/5, so I would choose that one. Number 2, I have some fraction bars. So I have 1 1/3 up here, 1 5/8 down here. I can look and see, okay, 1 5/8 is larger. I'm going to choose that one. Going on to the bottom, I have 3 1/2, so I have 3 1/2 right here is the dot. 3 2/4 right here is the dot. They line up, so that would be equal. This one I have one number line. I have 6 5/6. Make the dot a little bigger. 6 2 6. And I can easily see 6 5/6 is larger. Remember, it always eats the larger number. So now we're going to go on and we are going to order fractions, or order mixed numbers anyway. So the trick here is the first thing you're going to do is look at the whole number every time. So my whole numbers, I have 2, I have 4, and I have 2. And I'm ordering from least to greatest, right? Well, I know 4 is bigger than 2, so automatically I know that's my greatest number. So on the end, I'm going to put 4 3/8 since I'm going from least to greatest. Now, 1/4 and 3/4. Remember the rule. If your denominator is the same, your numerator, whichever one's bigger, is the larger fraction. Because that's saying if I have 4 pieces, 1/4 would be this much, right? 3/4 would be this much. So 3/4 is larger. So my smallest would be 2 1/4. My middle would be 2 3/4. Number 6, I can't use the same strategy because all of my whole numbers are the same. So now I'm going to go back and do what we did last time, and I'm going to compare them by cross multiplying. So I'm going to take 4 ninths, 2/3, 4 ninths, 1/8, and then 2/3 and 1/8. And I'm going to cross multiply and see which one's bigger. Every time it's bigger, I'm going to circle it. So 9 2 is 18, 3 4 is 12. This one's bigger. 8 4 is 32, 9 1 is 9. This one's bigger. 3 1 is 3, 8 2 is 16. This one's bigger. So I'm least to greatest. My one without any circles is my smallest number, my smallest fraction. So I have 1/8. So I'm going with 5 1/8. That's my least. Now my next one with only one circle is 2/3. So 5 2/3. And then with 2 circles, oops, it's not 2 circles. Sorry. Backtrack. 1 circle is 4 ninths. So now the one with 2/3 is going to be my greatest number. So that'll be 5 2/3. So why don't you pause this here and you try number 7, lucky number 7. Look at the whole numbers. They're all the same, so you'll have to do the same thing we did over here and compare those fractions. So if you got 3 2/10, 3 5/12, and 3 4/5, that's correct. The next one we are going to use this table about trail mix. The ingredients here, the amounts here. It says which ingredient shows the largest amount. Well, this was easy. I can look at the whole numbers. 2 is larger than 1, so corn chips would be my largest amount, right? Because it's 2 cups. Which ingredient requires 5/3 cups? Well, that's where we're going to have to convert these into improper fractions like we did a couple days ago. So to do that, mixed number to a proper fraction, you multiply the denominator by the whole number, like that. You add the numerator, then you keep the denominator the same. So I'm going to take 3 times 1, which is 3, plus 1 is 4, and the denominator is the same, so that's 4/3. So 1 and 1/3 cups equals 4/3. I'm going to multiply 3 times 1 down here, which is 3, plus 2 is 5, keep the denominator the same, 5/3. So which ingredient requires 5/3 cups? Raisins. Okay, we're kind of going to skip those. We'll do one of these word problems, and I'm going to choose number 12 just because Ethan's my brother's name and Fred's my grandpa's name. Actually, my brother's name is Ethan Fred, if you count his middle name. Anyway, so I'm going to compare 4 and 5/12 and 4 and 7/9. Since the whole number is the same, I'm going to cross multiply. See which one's bigger. 12 times 7 is 84. 9 times 5 is 45. So 7/9 is bigger. So 5/12 is less than 4 and 5/12 because my whole number. 4 and 7/9. So Ethan is taller. No, Fred is taller. Sorry. In real life, between my grandpa and my brother's a lot taller, but Fred is taller. You can pause this here and do number 13, and then check your answer. Okay, this was kind of a trick question. So I had 1/4 and 3/12. If I cross multiply, I get 12 for both of them. So Billy has an equal amount from each country, right? From the United States and Mexico. So he doesn't have more from either country. They're equal. It's a little bit of a tricky one. Moving on to the back. Kind of the same thing. We'll just do a couple of these. So this time we're going from greatest to least, and let's do number 7. All of the whole numbers are the same, so I'm going to cross multiply and compare the fractions. So I have 3/4 and 2/5. I have 2/5 and 1/2, and I have 3/4 and 1/2. Cross multiply, circle the larger number. So I have 8 and 15. 5 and 1 is 5, and 4. 6 and 4. So now, greatest to least. My greatest, the one with 2 circles, is 3/4. So 3 and 3/4 is my greatest number. Now the one with 1 circle, that's 1/2. So 3 and 1/2. And finally, it would be 3 and 2/5. Sorry, I kind of jumbled in there. Down here, this is where you're finding a missing numerator or denominator. So number 17. This means the center number means it's larger than this one, but less than this one. So greater than this one, less than this one. So if I look, all my numerators are the same here. So I just have to find a denominator that fits in between 2 and in between 4. There's only one that it could be. It can only be 3, right? Number 18, my denominators are different. My numerators look like they're different. So now I have to think, okay, what number is less than 2 and 1/3, or less than 2 and 5/6, sorry, but greater than 2 and 1/3. So something here. So I can compare 1/3, and I'm just going to pick a number to put over a 5. Let's put a 3 here, 3/5. This is 9, this is 5. So this would be greater than, let's see if that 3/5 would be less than 5/6. So I put 5/6 here, and 3/5 here, 18, 15. Nope, it's still greater than 5, or no, it should be 25. It is less than 25, 20, because it was 18. 18 is less than 25. So 3/5 would work. So I put 2 and 3/5 there. This one has to be less than 4 and 2/5. So I'm just going to put 2/5 over here and something with 6 over here. Well, I know smaller is probably, I know 1 should be smaller. So 6 times 2 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. That works. So I'm just going to put 4 and 1 6 there. Okay. The last one I want you to do is number 25. It says find the missing numerator in the equivalent fraction. So right here. So I want this one I cross multiply to be equal to this one. So how I'm doing that is, how am I getting, I'm going 3 times 8, right? And that's 24. So now I have to think 12 times what's going to get me to 24, because I want this side to be equal to this side. What'd you guys say? 12 times? Yep, 12 times 2. So I'll put a 2 there. So I have 24. So 2 would go there. If you want to keep working on this, that's great. You do not have to, but you do need to do the IXLs for today. Hey, and we're back with IXLs. Today we're working on P20 to P22. And they're all comparing and ordering fractions. So let's go ahead and get started with P20, graph and order fractions on number lines. Okay, so we're going to graph 3/4, ding, 1/4, ding, and 2/4 in the number line. And now we need to put them in order from greatest to least. Okay, so I'm going to start this way. This is my further side, my greatest side. So I have 3/4, then I have 2/4, then I have 1/4. Submit that. Perfect. Now I'm going to graph 2/6, 5/6, and 4/6 in the number line. And I'm going from greatest to least, so I'm going this way again. So my greatest would be 5/6, followed by 4/6, followed by 2/6. I'm going to submit that. Graph 1/10, 1/2, and 1/5 in the number line. This is where I'm going to have to convert some fractions. So I'm going to figure out 1/2 is how many tenths. So remember the way I do that is I figure out, okay, 2 times what gets me to 10? I'm sorry, this is so sloppy, and it's times 5, right? So whatever I do the denominator, I have to do the numerator, so I have 5/10. So I'm going to put a dot on 5/10. Now I need 1/5. I'm going to convert 1/5. So I have 1/5 to tenths. And you might be able to do this in your head, and that's fine. 5 times what gets me to 10? 2. So whatever I do the bottom, I do the top. 1 times 2 is 2. So I'm going to end up putting a dot on 2/10. Now I'm going greatest to least again. So I'm going backwards. So I'll have 5/10, which was equal to 1/2, right? Then I will have 2/10, which is equal to 1/5, and then 1/10. Perfect. Same. This one, I don't really have to convert because I can look, I see all the numerators are the same. If the numerators are the same, I'm looking at the denominator and I'm thinking, okay, the smaller the denominator, the larger the fraction. Because this is like saying, if I have a pizza and I divide it in half, you're going to get a lot bigger piece than if I divide it into eighths, right? If 8 people are eating one pizza, you're going to get a lot smaller piece than if 2 people are eating one pizza. But I still need to figure out where to put them. So let's erase this one. And I'm putting them in eighths. So 1/4 is how many eighths? 4 times what gets me to 8? 2, right? So 4 times 2 is 8, so 1 times 2 is 2. So 1/4 is equal to 2/8. Now I have 1/2 to eighths. So I think 2 times what gets me to 8? 4, right? So 1 times 4 is 4. So greatest to least again, I'm going to start with 1/2, 1/4, 1/8. Oops, I forgot to graph them on here. So I have 1/4, which was 2/8. I have 1/8, And I have 1/2, which was 4/8. Submit it. Perfect. So that's what you'll be working on for that one. This one's fairly simple. It's ordering fractions with like numerators or denominators. So this one, all the denominators are the same. If the denominators are the same, you just look at the numerators. The bigger the numerator, the bigger the fraction. This is like saying I divided the same things up into 6 pieces. If I have 5 of the 6 pieces, that's obviously more than I have 2 of the 6 pieces because they're all the same size. So least to greatest, 2, 6, 3, 6, 5, 6. Let's find a numerator one. Same thing, denominator again. So just look at the numerators and just put them in order. Least to greatest. So 5, 6, 9, because my tenths are all the same. This one, the numerators are different. Or the same, I mean. The denominators are different. This is where I think about a pizza again. I don't know why pizza's in my mind today. I should eat that for lunch. Anyway, so I have 3/4, 3/8, 3/10, right? If I have a pizza and I divide it up between 4 people, you're going to get a lot bigger piece than if I have to divide it up between 10 people. So it's least to greatest. It's just the opposite of what we do for if the denominators are the same. So this is my smallest number, my medium number, and my largest number. Okay, so that is P21. Now we'll go on to P22. This one is ordering fractions from least to greatest. So once again, I'm going to look and see if numerators are the same or denominators are the same. This time my denominators are the same, so I can just put them in order from smallest to largest. So 1/5, 2/5, 4/5. This time my numerators are the same. My denominators are different. So remember, the larger the denominator, the smaller the number. So 2/12, 2/6, 2/4. Let's jump a level. Least to greatest. This time I have different numerators, different denominators. This is where I'm going to compare. So I would take 4, 6, 1/3. Excuse my bad handwriting. I can't really do this any better. 4, 6, 3/12, 1/3. Now we want to compare each of them at least once. 3/12. Now I'm going to cross multiply. 6 times 1 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. Circle the larger number. 6 times 3 is 18. 12 times 4 is 48. Circle the larger number. 3 times 3 is 9. 12 times 1 is 12. Circle the larger number. So now I'm going to go through. The one without circles is my smallest number, so that would be 3/12. And the one with one circle is my next, which would be 4, 6. And my largest one with 2 circles. Oh, my largest one is 4, 6. There's 2 circles there. 1/3 only had 1 circle, like that. Same thing for this one. So I'm going to take 2/3, compare it to 5/12. I'm going to take 2/3, compare it to 1/2. And 5/12 and compare it to 1/2. So 3 times 5 is 15. 12 times 2 is 24. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 12 times 1 is 12. 2 times 5 is 10. This one is going back and circle them at the end. So now I have this one's bigger than, 24 is bigger than 15. 4 is bigger than 3. And 12 is bigger than 10. So if I'm putting them in order now, from least to greatest, my no circles is 5/12. My 1 circle is 1/2. And 2 circles is 2/3. And that's pretty much what you'll be doing for the whole thing. So if you have any questions while you're working, you can text, call. I can try to work with you on this distance learning days, like the chatty thing. Otherwise, hop on during one of our Zoom sessions. So those will be from 10:30 to 11:30 and 1:30 to 2. I'll just have it open that whole time if you have a question. And we should be good to go. So you got it. Let's get to it.